Welcome back to Velshine Rules. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is addressing two major flashpoints, Iran and Middle East peace talks. First, Iran. Pompeo now says the United States is prepared to speak with the Islamic Republic with, quote, no preconditions. But Iran's foreign ministry dismissed his comment as, quote, wordplay.
And on the rest of the Middle East talks, we have comments from Pompeo in a recording obtained by the Washington Post this weekend. It comes from a closed-door meeting with Jewish leaders. Listen to this.
It may be rejected. It could be, in the end, folks will say it's not particularly original. It doesn't particularly work for me. That is, it's got 2 good things and 9 bad things. I'm out. What happens when the plan doesn't gain traction? I don't want to talk about it failing. Call it whatever. I fail a lot, so it's not about not using a word like that.
But in a brand new interview with Euronews, Pompeo walked that back, saying, quote, when the plan is unfolded and when the world can see what we are proposing, I think it will be very clear that each party, indeed every person, will be better off if this deal is struck. Now, that sounds like an endorsement, right? Like, if you're going to go with the plan, just do that, even if you don't believe it. Jared Kushner, who's in charge of the administration's peace plan, had this to say about the region and his role.
Do you believe that the Palestinians are capable of governing themselves without Israeli interference?
I think that's a very good question. I think that that's one that we'll have to see. The hope is that they, over time, can become capable.
Do you understand why the Palestinians don't trust you?
Look, I'm not here to be trusted. They're not going to judge anything based on trusting me or trusting anyone else. They're going to judge it based on the facts and then make a determination. Do they think this will allow them to have a pathway to a better life or not?
I'm not here to be trusted. Did he actually say that?
He did, but hold on. Joining us now, Bloomberg opinion editor and columnist Bobby Ghosh.
Bobby, are you here to be trusted?
But hold on, wait. Yes, we can take that and
here
say.
To be trusted.
But I think the point Jared is trying to make actually is, it's not about him. If the Palestinian people can see a path where they can lead a better life than the one they're currently living, does he have an opening? I.e., is dividing Palestinians from Palestinian leadership possibly a good strategy for him?
No, I wouldn't put it that way. I think trust is very, very important here. The United States is meant to be brokering a deal. If you cannot trust the broker, who can you trust? The two sides, Israelis and Palestinians, have a long history of not trusting each other. Each would argue for very good reasons. They've got to be able to trust the person making the deal. If they don't trust the deal maker, then they cannot trust the deal. That's my take on this. There's been too much mistrust for too long in this region. Whatever the chances are of the next agreement, if there is one, succeeding, it has to start from a place of trust.
Then can you answer that, Ali? Well, who's a trusted deal maker? Who's a trusted broker?
Well, I think back to U.S. Secretary of States of both parties who have attempted and, by the way, failed, sometimes succeeded, in dealing in the Middle East. But it actually was exclusively built on trust. Nobody had to like anybody. I think that's an understanding, Bobby, in the Middle East. The Arabs, generally speaking, don't like the American position, which they have seen as being pro-Israeli for a long time. But there has been some sense of fair dealing. And to me, the surprising part of this conversation is where Pompeo, in that recording, didn't even give what appeared to be a sort of a little hug to this plan. He really sort of said, yeah, whatever, might work, might not work. It is the Secretary of State, ultimately, who has to go to this capital, one capital, the other, and say,
sell it.
Yeah, we're going to back this thing. America is going to help you make this work if you're in. Right, Bobby?
That's exactly right. It has to come with American guarantee. Without that guarantee, nothing else is ever going to get off the ground in the region. As you rightly pointed out, in the past, whenever there's been any progress, Anwar Sadat and shakes hands with Rabin, it's because you have an American president guaranteeing it. When you have Yasser Arafat shaking hands with his counterpart, you have an American president guaranteeing it. Without that guarantee from the mediator, in this instance, it's American. Nothing's going to progress.
But do you think those are examples of a trusted broker creating real progress or peace?
Well, yes, they had to be. Each of those two each of the two parties had to be able to trust the negotiator, had to be able to believe that the negotiator would follow through on the promises each was making to the other. You have a problem in this region where neither side is prepared to believe that the other will keep its promises. And there's a long history of broken promises there. Who is to guarantee that those promises are made? That guarantee has to exist. And only the United States in this time and in this place can make that guarantee.
Yeah, remember when it with Anwar Sadat, that peace holds to this day. Peace between Egypt and Israel does hold. And if it didn't, the world would be a yet more dangerous place. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.